BONG, Knicks Nights. I'm your host, JiggaManPorto. I was worried that Jerry wasn't going to show up, but good news is he is here. What up, Jerry?
What's up, man? Like, listen, it's one of them days. I may or may not be eating tater tots on the side over here because it's one of those days where there was no lunch break. So
that's good. It's all right. And then we'll just get Drew to laugh at you for eating on screen. What up, Drew?
What's up, guys? What up? Sorry, I was running a minute late. I just got out of a call.
No problem. Guys, also reached out to a big Knicks fan. Julito McCullum is joining us today. He's going to jump on the show. Let me go ahead and bring him in. What's up, Julito?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? Thank you for having me, man. A pleasure.
I love it. Love the shirt, man. Love the shirt.
Thank you. I just have to say this before we start, Jerry. Entourage is my favorite show of all time. I think I've said it to you in person at the Dolan Suites, but I just got to reiterate it here. It's my favorite show of all time, so it's a pleasure to share the pod with you today, man.
Well, man, I appreciate that, and yeah, right now we're just some frustrated Knicks fans, so
it's something that bonds us together.
Yes, always.
Jerry, what is it like? Like, do you realize how like impactful that show really was, Entourage? Like, is it crazy to have made like you kind of landed on a show that was like it was like really like one of the favorite shows of our generation. Like, how crazy is that?
It's crazy, and what's crazy now is how like I'm seeing the whole next generation discover it. You know, where I literally had a kid today. I went and had a workout, and the kid must have been 15 years old. I think school was closed today in Ohio where I'm at because it was too cold. Which, by the way, has that ever happened? Have you ever heard of that in your life? It's too cold.
This is some new stuff. I used to go to snow in 10 feet snow. 10 feet
exactly.
Snow.
Now, I'm not going to do the whole when I was a kid, I walked in 10 feet snow, but it was 5 degrees. I walked to school when it was 5 degrees. I can tell you that much. But anyway, he came up to me and he was like, "Are you Jerry Ferrara?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." How you? He's like, "Oh, can I get a picture?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where does this kid know me from? He's so young." And he's like, "Entourage, like one of my favorite shows." I'm like, "You probably shouldn't even be watching Entourage. That's how young you are." But it's great. Now that like time has passed, I'm actually able to enjoy it. I never enjoyed it in the moment. Not that I didn't enjoy what I did, but I was always so stressed that the show was going to either get canceled or something bad was going to happen, you know? And now that some time is removed from it, I could actually, as an old head, I could sit back and sort of enjoy it. So I appreciate that, man. It was a good run. I learned a lot. I was a kid when that shit started.
No doubt. And I don't even think that show, I don't think that show, as it was made in the past, would even be able to be made today the way it was, because it was so raw and so edgy. Like, Ari's character was fucking incredible, but like you couldn't pull that off today. I don't think he could. Could he? No way, right?
There would definitely be someone's feelings would be hurt, and which is fine by the like. But the thing that we always dealt with was like, we weren't trying to show it like docu-style. We weren't trying to literally like, this is exactly what it's like in Hollywood, because we took a lot of liberties and like heightened things. Like, you don't go to Earth Cafe on Melrose and Fairfax and there's 4 dudes and 400 girls. That's not real life. We heightened that because it was like a wish fulfillment thing, you know? But there was a lot of stuff. I'm sorry. There was a lot of stuff that was coming from real places. And, you know, the way assistants in the agencies and stuff were treated, like, you know, wasn't that far off. Not everyone was Ari, but there was a lot of people who thought they were Ari after watching that show. So, but no, I think it could maybe now, like, obviously got to reboot it with like a whole new cast and stuff like that. Maybe. I don't know. That's a great question, actually.
Has there ever been talk of anything? Has there ever been talk of continuing to expand the brand?
There's always talk. You know, we did the movie, and the movie did okay. It wasn't great. Didn't do great. It wasn't like enough to garner a sequel. And, you know, everything is rebooted. But I, of course, would take it seriously if it did come up. But I'm also of the school, like, look, I'm 42. You know, I was 24 when it started. It's like, are we all really living together? Like, what are we doing here? We might have, I think we might have aged out, you know? I've been telling them if they reboot it, they should just start with like, do like almost like a Cobra Kai model and like new cast. And then the old heads just pop in and be like, oh, remember Turtle?
You know? I got to do a pilot for HBO with Doug Ellen was the creator of it.
Oh,
and
no way.
It didn't get. It was about Mike Tyson's life. It didn't.
Oh
get
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
John Boyega. It was John Boyega and myself were the leads, and I didn't get to see Doug a lot. He wasn't on set because that was a Spike Lee joint, so he let Spike really take the realms of it.
Spike directed that pilot. Yeah, I heard that pilot was awesome.
It was amazing. I don't listen, man. I'm still wondering what the hell going on, but I got to ask Doug so many goddamn questions, so it was like an honor. And then I got to meet you at times, and you know, Entourage is like, you know, coming from a guy that was on The Wire, and people say, you know, we're in that conversation as well. But for me personally, being an actor, being, you know, a guy who I didn't live like Vince, but I got to truly see, you know, those inner workings of our world in the movie business, and man, Entourage is in my top 2 for sure.
Well, that's appreciated. And like the last thing is like, it also was a show about Hollywood. It was a show about friendship.
Yeah,
you know, similar to like what's going on with like Knights of Degen here. It's like it's a bunch of, you know, guys and girls who enjoy working together, and they're putting all their efforts into, in this case, the Knights are the Vince, you know, and but it really is just about friendship and having people, a support group that like supports you and that you can trust, because some of these businesses are cutthroat.
Yeah,
no, we're learning.
It's actually one of the beautiful parts about a lot of like just DAOs in general, like the decentralized, this whole movement towards DAOs. It's like this fascinating thing where for the first time in my life, I get to like work with my friends on various. I'm in probably about 4 or 5 DAOs now. And like each one of these, for the first time ever, I'm like working alongside my friends on various different projects. And I've never had that opportunity before. You know, my whole life I was building companies, but it was like I would take an interview, I would hire someone, I would recruit them, skill set. And now it's just like, yo, a bunch of friends that have like smart complementary minds in different areas. Let's come together and let's build something cool. And it's really interesting. It's a really fascinating kind of movement, which is kind of like what it is very similar to what was going on with Entourage. You had people with different personalities that came together as friends, but also found their role and their niche to be able to bring value to the collective group.
It's collaboration at the end of the day, man. Julito knows too. It's like rarely do you see like one person be like the reason why something is creatively working. So now, I mean, the only thing we're missing is a Knicks championship here, and then we're like well on our way, guys. So I think maybe like 10 more years we'll be.
Well, it's funny too because all over social right now, everybody's asking, "Yo, is Julito getting knighted?" And then I come to find out that Tiki Barber, our fellow knight, was actually played a coach when Julito was like 12 years old in the Wire or Miracle Boys.
Miracle Boys, yeah. Tiki was a coach. Jorge Posada. My character was he played baseball, excuse me. So out of nowhere, I was telling Jigga, out of nowhere, Tiki starts liking my posts on Twitter, and I'm like, did he just come across? Because my stuff gets reposted on Twitter often from within the Knicks community, and I'm like, is this just random? But then now I know he's a part of the Knights. I'm like, now it makes sense. So shout out to Tiki, man, good people.
Well, guys, let's jump in to the weekly recap. Like, do we even want to do a weekly recap? Let's start with that Pelicans loss. 102-91, and it was ugly. Ugly. I'm going to pull up some of the stats here, but Drew, overall thoughts, man. Let's start with this game.
Who wants to go first?
I guess the only bright spot I saw was Mitch. Actually, and Grimes. Again, I'm trying to look for the positives here. I mean, I think the positive of this entire stretch has been, I think Grimes is really showing what he's about. And I think the league's taking notice. Like I saw Van Gundy comment on him. I saw Tibbs comment on him. Like people are realizing this kid's a baller. Like he plays hard-nosed defense and can stroke it with the best of them and can penetrate when needed. So like, he's really playing at a high level. Mitch is playing, Mitch played strong that game. Like it was a, good solid performance. Outside of that, none of our scorers score. And that's just, we don't have a scorer. We just do not have a scorer.
Yeah, I was actually at this game, so I got to watch it in 4K. So I got to see this kid. I have to go into the stats to look at his name. That's how like no one knows who this kid is. Jose Alvarado. I got to watch him go to work on us. And listen, I'm a Brooklyn kid, man. So to watch another Brooklynite, really have the game of his life at home. He said he had about 20, 30 of his family members there that his teammates paid for them to come, right?
So that was special, yeah.
You know what I mean? So how special was that to be a part of that? But watching it and being a Knicks fan and knowing he's the opposition, it was heartbreaking because I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Right? Like me and my friends have a group chat. We have a group chat and we have a list of players who no one knows who they are, but they come here and they become like legendary. He's on that list now, right? Like, and
we seem to have a lot of those this season.
Oh no! I'm gonna show you the list. I'm gonna DM you the list. The list is huge. It's huge, right? Yeah. And it's unfortunate, man. I think it's all. Is that me? Am I having an echo?
Is it mine?
Let's see. Say something, Julito.
No. Yeah. Mic check.
You're good.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm saying it's not about the X's and O's when it comes to games like the New Orleans Pelicans, right? To me, it's more about effort, hustle, and drive. And I feel we lacked all of that this whole week, of course. But in that game, it really was eye-opening for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. I said it on the show last week. It's like you just got to take care of business against the teams that you got to be. And this is no disrespect to the Pelicans. They do have a lot of gritty players. Ingram is a bucket no matter what. Josh Hart plays hard all the time. And you get guys like Alvarado, but you got to just win that game. We were just coming off a stretch where we were defending the home court. And then that happened. And I was worried about it. And it happened. I really don't. I think everything everyone says is true. That is more of an effort thing. But then when you really do look at the plus minus, again, I'm no I enjoy analytics. I am not a numbers guy. The plus minuses between the starters and the bench, it's such a discrepancy to me. It just says like, now you go, second unit's going against second unit. I get it. But it's such a discrepancy when the starters are minus 25, minus 30, and then the bench is, plus 25, plus that getting them back in the game. It's such a discrepancy that I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll get into a lot of the second group and the performances we've seen. And I know Jerry's gonna have a lot to say on that one. Now, the Clippers game, we look good, right? Now, we said it last week, right? We would have been happy with a 2-2 run, but we were like, worst case scenario, we walk away with that 1-3, which is exactly what we did. But the Clippers win was a highlight for the week. I mean, they showed out.
Yes, but it was, and again, taking care of business against the teams that you should. And again, no disrespect, the Clippers are decimated with injuries, right? So really, like that would have been a true heartbreaker, And of course, it's like got that good victory, and then the whole weekend was really about football. But that's the whole other show. But yeah, I mean, we took care of business against a team that was absolutely decimated, and thank God we took care of business the way we needed to.
Yeah. For me, when Julius Randle and RJ Barrett plays well together, we do well, right? And you showed the stats: 26 points, 24 for both of them, respectively. I just don't get where the disconnect come from. That they can't do that on a nightly basis. Yeah. RJ Barrett's in his third year, wasn't able to truly have a first year. Second year, he wasn't able to have a true training camp, all of this stuff, right? So he's not going to be as consistent as he can be. But, Julius Randle, man, we're going in almost 10 years in this league, right? And I'm going to give him an earful before this show is over, so I'm just warning y'all. But, like, if we're talking about this Clippers game, this is the Julius Randle we grew to love last year, man. This is the guy, man. He's moving the ball. He's not stopping and sticking. He's not pump faking it when he's wide open and then, taking a jumper when he got somebody in his face. He was being the leader that we needed out of him in this game. And then we had the week that was. So it's frustrating, man. And, I really like that we got this win over the Clippers because, as y'all can see, man, they've been killing it on, like comebacks. They were down 20 against, I believe, Denver and won by 20, right? Like this is that pesky team.
Yeah.
They're very well coached. Tyronn Lue.
They're missing their best player though.
Both of them, yeah. Right. So we were able to pull it out. But why do we have to always go through these claw out games against teams we should be easily?
Yep. When we have that Batman and Robin tandem between the two, it's going to be a good game. There's just no consistency.
RJ was so impressive in that game too. I mean, RJ is showing complete basketball. I mean, he was in triple double territory with a few assists away, 14 rebounds, 28 points, dominant performance, 6 assists. I mean, when you have Randall and RJ also getting 5 or 6 assists each, that's also really big. They're moving the ball. They're just, I was so impressed with RJ, and he looks like he's stepping into a leadership capacity this year. I just feel like I see a demeanor of him that I love. See, the big difference between RJ and Julius Randle, I think, is demeanor. RJ keeps it cool, keeps it he's always his mind is always on the game. He stays focused. When Randle starts to unravel, he's gone. Unravels.
Yes.
And almost got in a fight with Fournier last game on the sidelines. I don't know if you guys saw that. On the bench, Fournier tried to shake his hand. He pushed him away. You just can't, what kind of leader? It's just not how you, listen, Patrick was emotional. Patrick would beat up on Starks. I get it. Captain, players that put their passion on the game, they put their passion out there. I get that. But it just doesn't, it's not a good look right now for Randall. When you're struggling, you got to hold it together.
Let's jump into this next one. Now, I'm going to turn to Jerry for the Cavs game. Okay. But you were at the game, but before we do, I figured, you know what? Let me just show this. The team in law with Jerry Ferrara. You were at the game, right? We got some footage.
I was at the game. I kind of wasn't even sure I was going to go because I just haven't been to a game here. I don't know. I'm lazy these days. I ain't going to be on. But the Cavs did roll out. My team-in-law rolled out the carpet for me. So I said, you know what? I gotta go. And it's the Knicks, right? So yeah, as you see, I told my wife on the last possession, I was like, record this because it's either going to be a game winner, we're going to have great footage, or you're going to say and of course I caught the fucking ball. And I don't know if you noticed, low-key, the two dudes next to me tried to dap me up, yeah, I didn't even look at them. It's you can't hear the audio. They're like, yeah, wait, where are they? Let's see. Yeah.
Ready?
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. That guy's getting nothing from me. Nothing. I was respectful in the Cavs house. I didn't go rock and color. I know how to go on a road game. I was respectful.
Do you officially have a rebound on the books now?
I have several, man. Yes. That is. I did want to shoot it, but I also didn't want to get kicked out. But
I saw you want to shoot it. You had that ball in your hand. You were getting ready.
We needed you, Jerry. We needed you.
Well, what was going through my mind, honestly, was I catch the ball and I'm like, so with 2.8 seconds left, you drop a play for Randall to catch the ball with his back to the basket from 30 feet. And we're not down by 3, by the way. We're not down by 3. We're not down by 3. It was a 2-point game.
2 points.
So I just I love Tibbs. Again, take 1 second here before if we do beat up on Tibbs and Randall and all that. But let's please remember, and I know it's about what you can do, not what you have done. But Randall and Tibbs put us back on the map last year. So I do think that they should have the runway for the type of season that we're having, which has been rough. But for our standards, this season last year, if we have the season that we're having now last year, we'd all be fucking thrilled with this team. Still coming off 2 years ago where we were at. So, but yeah, I just don't understand some of the play draw-ups coming out of a timeout. It didn't even look like the Cavs tried to take everything away. Ball was inbounded and it went right to Randall with his back to the basket. I just didn't. That's what I'm thinking. I'm holding that ball. I'm like, what the fuck? How is that the best we could do?
Yeah,
I got a question here. Is there the Knicks? The Knicks the head coach is Tibbs, And like, who is our like offensive coordinator? You know what I mean? Like we don't need like there's like you don't hear much about our assistant coaches, but like Tibbs is a defensive coach. He's actually the kind of coach that focuses on two things, like work ethic and attitude and defense. But like we don't have an offensive minded coach who's like building a style on offense. We have no offensive like character or demeanor, and maybe it's because we just don't have a go-to scorer, but like why are we missing an assistant coach that's an offensive coordinator?
Well, I would say this, right? You could say, right, the loss of Mike Woodson hurt us, right? You could say there's, he may not have hired the best, guys to fill in his shoes. But if you look at last season, I call it the we here season. If you look at last season, we weren't the greatest offensive team either, right? No, it just so happened that Julius Randle hit every shot he took, right? He hit every shot he took. So it's hard to say, was it Mike Woodson? Is it the coaches we have now? I just think it's a character. It's a character issue. And I think it's a confidence issue. And I think with this team, there's just a lack of confidence that doesn't work for us to be successful right now. And also, it's the rotations are just off, right? So if you look at Jerry, if you look at that Cleveland game, man, Alec Burks has been god awful for us. And listen, I love Alec Burks. Last game, the Pelican game, I got to show you, he gave me the jersey off his back. Right?
Oh man,
you know what amazing. I mean? Like, how cool is that? And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it right now. Like, Alec Burks just has not been playing great for us, right?
But he has been in an unfair position for a
while.
No,
he's not a point guard, right?
Right.
He's miscast completely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But in that specific game, he was not playing well. He hadn't played for the whole second half for the most part. Why do you put him in the inbound the ball?
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but they had to get Noel out of there. And Burks is a good passer, but he's also, I get it, like he has not necessarily been a shot maker, but there has been games where he's gotten fired. Like, don't you maybe want his shooting out there?
Right. Like, I'm fine with him being in the game.
Right.
Make someone else an inbounder. We need his shooting. Even if he misses, I'm okay with him taking a shot over Julius Randle.
I do have a lot of observations from being at the game, if you guys want to hear. Observation number one. Okay, now again, this is gonna sound like some bougie shit. I want everyone to know, listening, that I've sat in every seat at the Garden. Meaning, I've sat as low as you could be. I've sat as high as you could be. I've been all over that building, but the Cavs did roll out the carpet for me, and I was very, very grateful. Underrated feature. Like, Madison Square Garden has like the best treat shit ever. But I did like park underground where the players parked and like walked 50 yards to my seat in a snowstorm. That was amazing. Observation number two. Fucking Mobley is gonna be a problem. He doesn't even look like he's trying out there. He's literally just like, he's never in the wrong spot.
Is that a problem though? He doesn't look like he's trying out there. I agree.
No, it's not. It's effortless, Drew.
Is it effortless?
He's not Kevin Garnett like with his personality, but he's Kevin Garnett like with a three. He's never in the wrong spot. He never jumped on a pump fake. He never he just was perfect. Garland was kind of poetry in motion, hit the biggest shot of the game, but man, RJ did on the play before we got the ball back. There was some missed free throws. I think RJ had a very clean look for three to go ahead one, I believe. And that game boiled down to that. Like, Garland made a sidestep kind of corner three to give him the lead, made it. RJ had a clean look, missed it. And that was the entire game.
I
just want to say, was chatting a lot in the game. I heard that, like, he was talking trash. He was talking to his team. He at one point was telling like RJ to cook Mobley. I'm like, I don't know if RJ could cook Mobley like that. Like, Toppin is active vocally. I was very, very impressed. Sorry, go ahead, Julito.
No. I would much rather hear that than I'm surprised. Obi? Like, I mean, like, because where we sit usually, Jerry, on like Celebrity Row kind of, right? Like, you can't really see what they're doing all the way
under the basket's the best.
Under the basket, so
because it's like, man, you're also looking one way as opposed to when you're at like the 50-yard line ish. You're like that way. And
right.
Again,
right.
I know this.
Oh, right.
Like,
so Your seat was right next to the Knicks bench.
I was on the Cavs side.
Oh,
so I'm talking about in game when Obi was in the game. So I was baseline. Obi was in the corner, kind of just sitting there with his hands waiting for a shot, which I don't know why he's there. Should be, and he was just like, he was just talking the entire time. He's like screaming at RJ to cook Mobley, and Grimes once a game locks up the other team's best ball handler, and he shot us back in the game. And RJ did cook in the second half. And even though Quickly was 1 for 10, which was insane, he couldn't hit a shot. He still was like plus minus, it was plus 10 and impacted the game. And then another weird, like Fournier started off the game great, was on fire, hitting shot. And then like 21 minutes. I just don't, I get, you had to give Grimes the time. I understand RJ for sure. Like, I don't understand why Fournier's not, and I don't know. It's we just maybe don't have the right. Maybe there's too much redundancy, and we kind of knew that might be the problem. It's too much parity with the positions.
So I mean, and Porto, I don't want to take your transition if there's a transition for this, but did you guys hear about the Van Gundy thing? The Van Gundy.
Oh yeah, sure. You know me, I don't mind skipping ahead. All right, if you want to start there, let's go with hot or not.
I just really quick wanted to say, yeah, RJ had a wide open three, should have hit it or even went in because we were only down 2, winning for that foul.
That ball.
Or IQ shouldn't have took a 35-footer right before that.
I agree. I remember that stood out to me too.
So that's all I want to say.
So we can do hot or not since
let's do it.
The next game would be the Heat game anyways.
Yeah.
Drew wants. Yeah. Drew, you're bringing up Van Gundy. All right. So let's start with that. All right. I mean, did everybody see it already? If you haven't, I mean, he's blasting stuff all over the place. His opinions last night. Here's a lot of them. What were you going to say, Drew?
I think that my question for everyone is this: like, listen, Van Gundy he's calling it out, like everybody's seeing it. The starting group's flawed. That's it. They've had enough time. There is no chemistry. If you keep repeating yourself, that's the definition of insanity. They've had their chance. It's not working. Okay. That being said, and then
I got pushed back.
And Tibbs, I hear you. And Tibbs is saying basically like there's going to be changes. He's looking at everything. He's not happy. Blah blah blah. I'm struggling with like, listen, you've known my opinion all along. We have to make some serious trades. I've always said that. But without a trade, and let's say it's just some lineup changes, what do you think is where do you like? And I'll throw some thoughts out there, but like, I'm really interested to see if they can change the lineup and get creative. And I and Metz is saying, like, I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out how does this work? Like, who is the lineup? And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if we ride with our point guard, which is Kemba, let's say
we don't have a point guard.
We don't.
Well, we don't have one. No, we don't. But let's say we start. I don't even know if Kemba should start. I really can't.
He can't play. Drew is the problem. Meaning, like he played 20 minutes last night. He does have pep in his step in the first half. It's like, he gave us that week when he had to play, and he was playing 35. Like I'm not saying like he's done, but
he might be fresh.
I don't physically know you could actually depend on him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It goes back to, we've talked about it like the very first episode of Bing Bong Knicks Nights.
Yeah,
right?
like
Kemba wasn't supposed to be the full-time point guard that he's being driven into with his knees and the way
we need Derrick Rose back. We need to help Derrick Rose would help a lot. Sorry, I interrupted you, Drew.
No, we need Rose badly. I agree. I guess I'm trying to think of like what are the other lineup changes? Are they really going to ever move Randall to the bench? I don't see that. No. I just can't fathom it. So like I'm like, can he play? Should he be playing 28, 32 minutes instead of 40 minutes? Yes, I do believe that. But I don't think they're going to move Randall. I don't really see a need to change Mitch's spot. So then, and you're not going to change RJ. So you're really just talking about the backcourt. That's what you're talking about here. That's the real issues. So the 2 guard, I think you give Grimes a shot. I think he should be a starter.
So who's they going for, Fournier?
And I think
or RJ. It's got probably Fournier.
I think Fournier moves to the bench. RJ is the cornerstone right now, the steam. So I think it's Fournier goes to the bench. And my other question is, do you think Quickly can start at the point guard with Grimes and let those two try to change up this? If you just change the backcourt right now and move Quickly and Grimes into the starting guards, and let the front line be the front line. Now you have Kemba and Fournier at the bench playing with some energy, though, with Obi and Burks and Noel. That's an interesting. And then we still
but I'd rather see Cam in there. I don't trust Fournier. He's so Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, you don't know what you're getting from him each night.
I mean, he's capable of a 30 on any night. I mean, I personally think we have to trade this guy. We've already named 10 guys without Cam. Like that's 11, and Cam, there's no spot for right now. There's just literally no spot. So I don't even understand how this is going to work.
If I could speak on the JDG comments, man, he was spot on all night. I watched on ESPN. I usually never watch on ESPN, but something just told me I like how it looks. It looked a little more clear on my TV. So I started to watch ESPN. And when I tell you from the moment he started talking, he was spot on. And it's surprising, right? Coming from a guy who was very, very close to Tom Thibodeau. He so close that he had him as his assistant coach for many and many years, especially when he was here, right? Like he was putting him out on Front Street, right? Most of what he had to say was a direct correlation to this rotation and to the way he's coaching the team. And that says a lot, man. That's your friend, right? And I know right there they try to be, as general as possible, but when you're saying that you need to sit your entire bench, you need to sit your entire starters for the bench. You need the starters to learn things from the bench, right? Like that was a direct jab at Tibbs, and it says a lot, man. I just, you know what I mean? The definition of insanity, I think that was like the bar tonight. They don't bring it on a nightly basis. That's all shots at Tom Thibodeau, and I just think it's if so, in the Knicks community, right? There's we converse sometimes about like, oh, like people that say you guys aren't coaches, you guys don't know, right? Like, and then you see Jeff Van Gundy, one of the greatest Knicks coaches ever, say everything Knicks Twitter is saying. So now what, right? Like, if we can see it, if guys like Jeff Van Gundy that commentate the game can see it, how is Tibbs and his team not seeing it?
I have a little different of a take, and I guess like his the definition of insanity line, like I didn't fully get it. Like I guess he means just like you're repeating the same cycles. Like I understand that, and I do think Tibbs's rotations have been questionable to say the least, right? But I also think a couple of things that we all just need to remember as Knicks fans, and it's real hard. Okay, this was not a championship or bust season. It never was. Okay, matter of fact, technically, it's not even a playoff or bust season, even though we're coming off a force which was wildly past anyone's We would have been happy with a play-in seed, a 10 seed last year. We overachieved so much last year and set the bar so high, and everyone played so above. Like, am I like, do I wish it was Randall from last year? Of course. Was that really ever sustainable? I don't know. And I think we're finding out. Probably not, right? Because, you said it earlier. He hit fucking every shot last year. Mm-hmm. He shot 42% from 3. I mean, that's like numbers that like maybe like very few bigs have ever done, while also averaging like 6 assists. So I think that Van Gundy was speaking on a sense of like, well, this is why the Knicks aren't like the 4 seed again. And I just don't know if there ever really was a world where we were going to be with the talent that we have. Also, then with the injuries that we've had, losing Rose is fucking massive. Remember where we were when we got the trade? We were 21-21 when we traded for Rose last year. Okay. He was huge for stabilization of a backcourt. And, Fournier hasn't panned out. I just don't know. Like, to me, this year was always about try to make the playoffs at the very least, make the play-in and really try to go on a run. But the thing that I wish Van Gundy would have talked about more, that I think is more important than anything, is develop the young guys. And that's not necessarily been a Tibbs strong suit. But he is letting Grimes fly. He is. Yeah. We were talking about different lineups. I love Mitch. I have like a weird thing with Mitch. Like, I don't know if Mitch is like modern NBA championship basketball. Like, yeah, maybe if you have like Steph Curry and those guys, sure. But like, I don't know, is there a Obi Randall combination? Obi at the 5? Like, I know that hurts us defensively, but it does a lot of other things. And I don't know. I would definitely mess around with the starting line, but the bottom line is the stars need to be better. And if they're not, we ain't going anywhere.
Now,
you can play the bench all we want, and we're not going to go beat the Bucks in Milwaukee with the bench starting.
Right. I mean, do you think, a lot of talk of, bring in some of those young guys in the rotation, with some of the vets, kind of mix it up that way. I mean, it'd be good to see them get more development. I personally don't see that turning into wins in the win column, though. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. Everything you just said, Jerry, spot on. The bench is going up against another team's second unit, right? So, of course, they may come. We may give them more minutes. And that's the thing, right? I don't want to. I hate the connotation that like Tibbs doesn't play the young guys, because he does. He quickly plays a lot of minutes. Quentin Grimes is in the rotation in a significant point, right? Like, he plays the young guys. So for me, it's not about the young guys. What I live on is every time Tom Thibodeau goes to a press conference, he says, we're going to play the people who give us the best chance at winning. And that's an absolute lie, right? You do not play the people who give you the best chance at winning, because if you did, you would be holding guys like Julius Randle more accountable. Right, I'm watching Tibbs every single time Quentin Grimes, even RJ, do anything even like almost not close to perfect. He's losing. He's having a conniption on the sideline. If I'm watching the TV, and I literally almost broke my TV like 7 times just this week alone watching Julius Randle, and Tibbs is just like, and then he gets in his press conferences and he's like, yeah, man, Julius is he's really good, man. And I'm just like, Tibbs, you got to hold this guy accountable. He's the leader of our team, right? So I don't know if it's about playing the young guys. I don't even know if it's about changing the rotation. It's effort. It's effort. And Julius Randle, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go super hard on him, because I do understand that being the leader in New York is tough. Right, like New York is one of the toughest cities to even have to have money in, to have an experience, and whether you have money or not, right, to be the guy. It's unfortunate that he seems so miserable here, but at the same time, you're getting paid $25 million a year to be the guy for us. I'm gonna need you to, like, there's a video. My friend went to the game last night. He took a picture with Julius Randle literally like. It wasn't. We were only down like 15, and it was maybe like middle of the third quarter. And Julius Randle, it's not even that he's not in the huddle and he's not watching the play get written up. It's not even that he's standing with the assistant coaches, right? He's standing even further back to where security guard is standing closer to the huddle than he is. And that, you don't think the young guys see that? Yeah. One thing Jeff Van Gundy said last night that was on point was, you're only as good as your leader. So if your leader has bad body language, it's going to give everybody else the right to do the same. And I think it's little, for me, I didn't think we were going to win this season. I didn't think we were going to do anything. But what I did hope was that we would have the same level of tenacity and effort we did last year, and we just don't have it. And I think Julius Randle plays a huge part in that.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, if he's being paid to be our leader, it comes back to what everybody's saying. If he's not leading and that's the chemistry he's giving off, it's reflecting in the way everybody's playing, and their mentality is just trash. So let's do this. Hot or not? All right, we'll go around the horn. Jerry, hot or not on fans calling for Tibbs to be fired? Muted, but I think he said hot.
Sorry, I'm muted. If you couldn't tell, I was going, not. So, look, again, it has not been a masterpiece of coaching by any stretch. It's not entirely on him, but a lot of it is on him. No, I do not think he should be fired. Again, let's not lose our minds as Knicks fans. Like, I get it. I want to win worse than anybody. I watched Game 7 Hardwood Classics 1994 Knicks Rockets, and I still pretend like they're going to win. Okay, so like, I want to win more than anything. Before I'm dead, I would love a championship. But let's not go crazy. This has never necessarily been a championship roster. Tibbs changed the culture for real. Now, maybe the culture isn't what it was last year, but everyone last year bought in. And I think that's still completely possible again. He was the coach of the year last year. I no, that to me is not hot at all. I think that'll be a giant mistake to fire him at this point when there's still, what, 3 games under 500 and very much in the mix for some fun playoff stuff. I think it would be a mistake.
Hey, Drew, hot or not, Van Gundy saying the Knicks have no stars on this current roster.
Hot. He's right. We have no stars. We have no star on this roster. We have a bunch of supporting stars. We have, the facts are we won't have an all-star this year. That's for sure.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So, we do not have a star on this team. I've been saying it from day one. We are missing a go-to guy. Randall is a strong number 2. Strong number 2. RJ is a strong number 2 or 3. Probably better a 3. That is all good. We are missing our Beal. We are missing our Ingram. We are missing a go-to scorer that you put the ball in your hands and you get the fuck out of the way, and he will create his shot, create space, and put the ball in the bucket. And we do not have that guy. You put the ball in Randall's hands, it's a fucking mess. So no, I'm hot on that. We're missing a star, and that's why I'm hoping we put together a big trade.
Anybody on the opposite side of that? Do we have a star on the Knicks roster?
I'm not hot on that. I think currently right now, I think Van Gundy is correct, but I think when you're looking at guys that are, I think it's unfair to say to a 21-year-old kid who's already done a lot in 3 years that they're not going to be star. RJ could absolutely be a star.
Gonna be wasn't the question. I love RJ.
Right. But all right. Yeah. As currently constructed right now, I still say Julius Randle is a star player who is not playing up to it.
Potential. Yeah.
I still, dude made all NBA second team. That you could say it's fluky a little bit, but the All-Star game is a little more fluky than all NBA. All NBA means you did it start to finish. So I'm going not, but it's close. I hear what Van Gundy say. I get it. I get the comment. I get it.
All right, Julito, I got one for you. Hot or not on the trade speculation for Donovan?
Super hot. Super hot. Listen, you give up what you can to get guys like Donovan Mitchell in New York City.
That's the star. That's the star we need.
That's the guy. Do I have to talk about Donovan? Almost averages 30 points a game, makes everybody around him better, playmaker, offensive threat. Every single play you have to be mindful of. He commands doubles and even triple teams.
That's what a star is, guys.
Born on this side of the hemisphere, right? I don't believe he's a New Yorker, but this is.
It was a Connecticut, tri-state
area, right? This is home for him. He grew up a Knicks fan. Still watches almost every one of our games, right? So because that's the thing for me when it comes to stars, there's De'Aaron Fox talk, and I'm but I remember last season when he kind of laughed at us on Twitter, and and yeah, that's not a big deal. This is the NBA. Who cares? People go to their rivals and play well, but I want a guy who cares for the Knicks, who wants to play here, who's lifelong dream is to be to play here. So when you get a guy like Donovan Mitchell that may pop, and I've been hearing, not me personally been hearing rumors from sources, but I've been seeing the rumor mill all season around that team, man. And I'm not surprised they're saying they're one first round exit away from him going out.
Now you got to root against the Jazz every single night.
Every game.
I mean,
I love Donovan Mitchell. I wanted to draft. I'm still not over the fact that we did not draft Donovan Mitchell. I've heard all sorts of urban legend stories, when the coach of the Jazz, when they saw Donovan Mitchell work out, they're don't tell no one this guy's this fucking good. Tell no one that this is the best player in the draft. Do not breathe a word of it because he has to fall.
What number pick did he go?
Did he go 13 or something?
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. He went no, he was right there. He was there. And that was a guy that was on our radar. We were actually.
Who did we take instead?
The team that was going to take him.
Who did we take instead?
Do you really want to know?
No, I know it's going to be an absolute disaster because we haven't had.
Do you want to guess?
Is this Ntilikina?
No, hold on. Let me just double check. I don't want to spit out anything.
So Donovan was the number 13 overall pick.
I don't want to spit out anything incorrect.
What year was it?
It was Ntilikina. That's right.
It was Ntilikina.
It was Frank. It was Frank.
Yeah, that's a burn. That's a burn. I mean, listen, that's
I have this hat for Frank. Like I saw it, and I was
Frank.
like, "This is cool."
I love
But
Frank.
goddamn, we chose Frank Ntilikina over Donovan.
So here's the other thing with Donovan Mitchell that is would be so amazing is he is barely entering his prime, and we've always gotten these types of guys when they're just exiting their prime, right? You can look at McGrady's, Jason Kidd's, even Melo to a degree. He still had like good prime year. Amari, like to get him in the next year or two while he's ascending like into his prime would be fantastic. It is the exact thing that is needed. A scorer who could also go to another level. We saw him in the bubble when him and Jamal Murray were going mano a mano, went to another level that I think only a handful of guys, even if you are all NBA level, there's only a handful of guys that could go to that type of level.
He's the position that like you fill that void, the starting point, a point guard star. I mean, like we need a backcourt star, and that's what we're missing.
That's hot.
Everyone is available but RJ Barrett. Everyone.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
All right. So before we move to the next segment, last question. This one goes to you, Jerry. Hot or not, the Cavs may be your team-in-law, but Knicks are forever number one in your heart.
Listen, man, that's hot. I ain't going anywhere. I don't jump ship.
Nope.
Jerry, do you live in Cleveland now?
I don't say live. I say I stay in Cleveland right now because, like, to me, it's all temporary. But I am here, and it is a great city. I love the people. My wife's family is all from here, so like,
nice.
It's real great. I don't love canceling school because it's too cold. That's still strange to me. But and Kobe Altman, ironically, went to the same high school I did. I'm a little bit older than him, but no one I know went to. I'm a Brooklyn guy too. No one I know from the Utrecht is like literally doing anything really in the NBA. So Kobe's in the Utrecht grad. I saw him at the game. I talked to him for a minute, and like, I'm just happy for that guy. They were like calling for his head a couple of years ago. Yeah. All the moves they made to, trying to keep LeBron here. And I think what's happened in 2-3 years, I mean, everyone killed the Garland pick. They killed the Sexton pick. He's been hurt. Okoro, no one even paid attention to Okoro. He was a beast in that Knicks game. He's like, 22 years old. That dude's built like he's got grown ass man strength. He is big.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, man. Listen, I'll end it with this. My sons want to root for the Browns. I won't love it, but okay. You want to root for I guess they're called the Cleveland Guardians now. I won't love it. You are not rooting for anyone else but the Knicks. That is non-negotiable.
Draws a line somewhere.
Non-negotiable. Dead end. There's no start to that combo.
My kid was born into a Knicks blanket. Like that was literally it.
Yeah,
guys,
I'm not gonna lie. In the playoffs, Cleveland is my team. I once I saw they got Evan, once I saw Jared Allen, I said, "Yo, they're gonna be really good. They are fun to watch. They're gonna make some noise in the playoffs." I'm not gonna lie. I don't care for any other team on the planet but the Knicks. But I will be hoping that they do good things if we don't make the playoffs.
And stole Jared Allen. Kobe Altman stole Jared Allen for an almost second-round pick. And now the Harden thing's falling apart a little bit over there. And the Cavs are chilling with Jared, who should make the All-Star game this year. Jared Allen should make the All-Star game. And by the way, wasn't playing against the Knicks. So that might have been a little scarier if they were at no marketing. So
no marketing.
Yes, they stole Jared Allen for a ham sandwich.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're gonna jump into our fire moments. Julito, thank you so much for checking in with us and hanging out with us
today.
You guys. You are welcome anytime.
Please come back, man. Please.
Yes, I will. I will for sure. Thank you guys so much.
And I will be sliding into that DM. We need to talk Nights of Degen, bro. I mean, it just makes sense.
Let's get it. I don't even know what that means, but I'm down.
That's all we need to hear. We got it. Appreciate you, Julito.
Take care, man.
Thanks, guys. Good seeing you, man.
No doubt, buddy.
All right, let's jump into our fire moments.
up,
What's
Edge?
good, guys?
What's good is I haven't opened up my TS since the last time you were on. So school
I don't know if that's
me,
good or not.
Dr. Edge. School
I
me.
went over the day yesterday. Or whenever that. What was the big day of packs? Like yesterday?
Tuesday.
Dude, I went over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. Over.
Yep, me too. 0 for 4, and then I went 0 for today on the trade-in tickets as well for the S1 reserve. So 0 for 5 on the week. But
You're muted, Drew. Drew, you're muted.
Wait, I missed the trade-in?
trade-in was earlier, 12
I have
o'clock.
all the tickets too. I'm so pissed. Is there no way to get into it still? Or is it over?
No, there were a little over 2,000 in the queue, and there were only 500 packs. I think my queue number was like 1,500. So no luck, no luck. A lot of they've been doing it every 2-3 weeks, maybe once a month. So it'll.
I need reminders for this shit. I literally got 300 tickets together for this one, and I fucking missed it.
Yep.
Ed, which one do you want to start with today, man? What are we touching on?
Well, I wanted to just quick market update. Looking at the metrics this morning from Live Token, looks like everything's showing a little bit of decline, and I think that's in part due to the pack drops. People were a lot more active selling last week and buying as well, trying to get prepared for the pack drops. And once that happened, there was a little bit of buying the last day or so. But as far as sales, it's down for the week, but still healthy, still in a healthy place. Average sale price was actually higher than usual. So everything on that front's pretty good. Not really anything noteworthy to talk about, pretty stable. So I won't waste too much time on that. But first thing I want to talk about today was the KD pack and challenge. And it just make sure you guys out there that did buy the KD starter pack, so that Jigga and Jerry, both of you, you need to make sure you get in on the pack challenge, because it's got a chance at winning like a KD signed jersey and a guaranteed base set pack. So you get another free pack out of the deal. So you need to definitely do that if you bought the pack, because you should have enough moments to complete that. It's basically like just getting a free pack for buying that initial $9 pack as well. So I just want to remind everybody to hop on that. Make sure you get in and get that done. It does wrap up here in a few days, 2-3 days, something like that, maybe a little bit longer, but worth just getting it done, knocking it out. Go to challenges and fill out that showcase and get that done.
All right, Jerry, we're both on that one. All right,
and I can help you out, talk to you afterwards if you need it. But the big news, I guess, was the hollow drop and the metallic gold drop on Tuesday. The hollow drop, the first challenge was announced. So challenge 1 for hollow this season is going to be for DeMar DeRozan. Pretty sick game-winning moment for the Bulls. And
there's a pack drop right now going on. I think I just saw a locker pack or something.
Locker packs are just reactivated. You can always trade in trade tickets to get locker packs. So you trade in for. It's not worth it at all. You're burning money. So, I mean, you got a shot at some S2 moments in the locker packs at this point, because people have traded them in, but it's not worth it. Just hang on to your trade tickets. Make sure you have enough. I got 350 just so I'm set for the next 18 months, because that's how long it's going to take for them to dole out all those S1 reserve packs.
And when you go into if you have your 350 and you go into the S1, because I got it for the S1 pack. That's all I'm in it for. So What happens is you go in, you put if you don't win, if you don't get picked, you don't lose your tickets, right?
Yeah, no, they just stay in your account as trade tickets. So you're set for, like, if you got 350, I doubt they're going to raise it. They could in like 3-4 months. They could bump it up to 400 or something like that, just to maybe decrease the number of people in the queue, because it's kind of getting up there with how many people are queuing up for these things now. The first time was like, if you had enough trade tickets, you basically were going to get a pack, or you had a pretty good chance. But now you're looking at about a 25% chance today, and I just expect that to continue to decrease as time goes on, because more people are going to accumulate more trade tickets. But going back to the challenge, the DeRozan challenge, current low ask of 10,475, which is probably too high if you don't have any of the moments. Especially what a lot of people did when the pack drop happened was a lot of the whales just jumped on and bought up all of the hollow moments for this drop. That way they're all set for the challenges. Now they did do something different in adding a couple of extra moments that in the past haven't been required for these challenges, which was an S1. I believe it was an S1 Bulls moment, and then an S1 or a DeRozan debut or something like that. There was 2 extra outside of the hollow moments needed. So it's pretty expensive. Most people aren't going to go for this. I expect the mint count to be probably in the 40s. I think it was setting at like 27 last time I looked this morning. So I don't anticipate a whole lot more completions the next couple of days. The metallic gold drop 2 also happened on Tuesday, and the 4th challenge for that was announced, and that is going to be Chris Duarte. I think is how you say his last name, Duarte. So he's a rookie for the Pacers, having a really good year. This is actually a really cool moment. Low ask right now, if you wanted to complete the challenge, is $2,371. So still, I mean, this moment's not going to be worth that much. There's 750 in this mint count in this collection. So if you're looking at comp, I would say the Donovan Mitchell from the first round of moments, the challenge for that. And I think it ended up with a mint count at 200. So you're looking at a moment that's probably going to be worth, I don't know, $200-$300, something like that. I would say maybe a little bit more because it's got the rookie badges, but not something you're going out of your way to go out unless you just got money to buy all of the metallic golds needed for the drop or for the challenge. And then moving on from there, just real quick, I know we're kind of crunched on time today, so I just want to make sure I get to all these points. The last thing I really wanted to talk about for sure was the ongoing metallic silver challenges, which are the most attainable by far. It's a fandom set. We talked about it before. Last night, they did a tiered challenge, which was a 2-tier. So the first tier, the easy part, was having the top 10 free throw shooters. Actually, I don't even think it was 10.
Is this the charity stripe thing that
this is the charity stripe? Yeah. Do you have yeah. So it was for each game. So I don't remember how many games there were last night, but you had to include the player that had the most free throws made in each game. So it was a different one. They hadn't done that yet. And as far as tracking the challenge, there is a really cool website that Jigga's got up on the screen now. It's called, it's run by a guy, Moment Nerd, on Twitter. He created this site, and it's really handy as the night goes on, or even like right now. This challenge is still live, I think, for maybe another minute. Maybe it closes off, but you can go to this site that he's created, and you can see the active leaderboard, and he updates it live as the games go on as well. So once the game's in, he locks it in, and it's got the list of people that are required there. You can also find it on Top Shot's Discord and on Twitter as well. There are multiple sites on Twitter that track these challenges. So just keeping an eye on those. If you're just getting into the Top Shot game, my suggestion is load up some Dapper so you have enough to kind of go after some of these challenge moments. Some of them are going to be super expensive. Like the bottleneck for this one is Justice Winslow. Unfortunately, he happened to make the most free throws in their game last night. I don't even remember who he plays for now, but he only has one moment on the whole platform, and it's a 12,000 count debut. So that has skyrocketed. It was $8 before the challenge started, and it's selling for $108. Or was as of 5 minutes ago when I last checked it, because I was debating. It was the only one I needed, and I can't bring myself to pay $100 for an $8 moment just to get the SGA reward. That's just me. I know a lot of people who did buy it, playing the serial lottery. I just honestly kind of busy and didn't really take the time to figure out if it was worth it to me, and so I didn't do it. But for a lot of people, it's something that they want to do. They want to play that pack lottery, see if they can get a good serial. So that's where we're at. I don't really have much else. I know Jerry had to hop off, and I'll talk to him a little bit more later about getting some stuff set up. We've been chatting off stream, but that's all I got for you.
Thanks for the update, Edge.
You got it. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you, buddy. All right, Jake, I got to run too, buddy.
All right, later, Drew. Appreciate everybody tuning in to Bing Bong Knicks Nights. Here's the schedule coming up. We'll see you next Thursday, 2 o'clock Eastern. Laters.